So let's have a look at the part of the lesson that is matter. If we talk about matter, then in matter we had discussed about its physical, chemical, on the basis of the physical states, its bifurcation, its basic bifurcation. If we talk about the matter, then the basic classification of matter was of two types, that is physical and chemical. I hope you remember the content. If we talk about the two types of matters, that is physical and chemical, in the physical, basically there were five, but we had discussed about three, that is solid, liquid and gases. If we talk about the chemical, then on the basis of chemical it was pure substance and mixture. Okay, so this was the part. We had discussed also about the more two types of states of matter, that was plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate. I hope you remember the content that was done. Okay, now let's move further on. The basic chapter, this is just the outlook. Then we discussed about how the solid got converted into liquid, then sublimation, melting, fusion, evaporation, diffusion. So that was about the whole of the lesson that we are going to see today once again. So let's have a look at it. So let's have a look at the next further part of matter. This is what we discussed about. Matter is anything that has space and occupies, has mass and occupies space. Basically, if we talk about the classification, then the philosophers had described it as into the Panch Tattva, air, water, earth, fire and sky. If we talk about its physical state, then it is classified into solid, liquid and gas, and two more we talked about. Coming to the chemical composition, and on that basis it is bifurcated as pure substance or mixture. Then this is about the composition of it and the nature. It was Empedocles who said that matter is made up of fire, water, air and earth. So he had included four things, but Samkhya philosophy also included one more thing, that is space, and they gave that concept. The very first philosopher, Indian philosopher who gave the concept of Parmanu, that is atom, was Kannad, and the Greek philosopher Democritus, he gave the concept of atom. He was the one who gave the beginning of the concept of the atom. Then the properties, we are going to see the properties of matter. The five properties are over here. The very first thing is matter is made up of particles. Then particles are very tiny, बहुत छोटे छोटे होते हैं. They have space between them. They are constantly moving. When they are constantly moving, we had done Brownian movement. I hope you remember this. And the particles of the matter, they attract constantly each other. So these are the basic properties of matter. This is how actually the matter is made up of. Okay, you can see in this one image only. Over here it is in which state? Solid. Here liquid. While here it is in which state? It is in gaseous state. Okay, the very first thing, this is the image which shows that it is made up of solid, liquid and gases. Very first concept of matter is it is made up of particles. Whether it is solid, in liquid or in gaseous state, in whichever state it is made up of particles. Try to recall which activity we had used. We had used the activity of potassium permanganate. Okay, we had taken the beakers. The 3 beakers, and in them the potassium permanganate solution was kept. In the first water was filled and then potassium permanganate was added. Over here it was already containing water. Water was there, and from here we took 10 ml of potassium permanganate and we added to this. Once we added to this, its color got changed. Okay, little bit light. From here again we took 10 ml in a test tube. And we added it to the next funnel, next beaker. What do we saw? It became yet light. Why did it happen? It happened because of the concept that matter is made up of particles. Okay? So that's over here. This is what we had already seen. Next thing is, these is when the particles of the matter are very tiny, they are very small. So because they are made up of particles they are very small, these particles will mix up with each other, and what will happen? They'll become the whole of the substance, as we talked about. They'll just change the color, and that is because the particles are very tiny. The next particular concept is they have space between them. If sugar is added to the water, then what will happen? There are lots of particles that are present, and there's lots of particles. They will get constantly mixed up over here, and you'll get the mixture of sugar and water. Next was the Brownian movement. That is, they are constantly moving. This particular particles over here, you can see there is a container which is having the gaseous molecules. This gaseous molecules will constantly move here and there, and they are not moving in a particular fashion. You can see over here the ink gets spreaded up. Why all these things are happening? These are happening because of the movement. Okay, and the movement is more when it is hot and less when it is cool. So this is very important point about the Brownian moment. More the temperature, more will be the kinetic energy. Okay, try to recall, we had talked about the Bournvita. If you are mixing the Bournvita in the cup that is containing hot water, hot milk, then the Bournvita will quickly dissolve and you can enjoy it. But if it is cold milk, then it will take more time to get mixed up. So that is how more the temperature, more with the Brownian movement. Okay, next is particles of matter attract each other. Anything you can see, whether it is an iron nail or chalk. If you try to break it, an iron nail, will it get broken up? No. If we try to convert the chalk into pieces, will it happen? Yes. Why? This particular thing is happening, that some are getting breaked up and some are not. Okay, what is the reason? The reason is it is easy to break chalk. Why? Because of the fact that particles are not attracting so much each other. Okay, so now we are going to the concept of solid, liquids and gases. The very first state of matter is solid. Okay, right now 3 and after discussing 3 we'll move on the 4th and the 5th one. This is what the solids are. You can see the particles are very tightly arranged with each other. Because they are arranged very tightly with each other, what is happening is properties of solid. Now solids are some substances in which the particles are very closely bound to each other. Because the particles are very closely bound to each other, and moreover you can see there is very less intermolecular space, they are attracting a lot each other, they are having fixed shape and fixed volume. Okay, these are the properties of solid. Coming to the next part, that is liquids. Liquids, they are having, they take the shape of the container, they don't have fixed shape, but they have fixed volume. Intermolecular distance, that means distance between two molecules is moderate. Intermolecular attraction force, that is also moderate. You can see over here, this is about the liquid. They are not rigid. Then comes the gaseous molecules. The intermolecular distance is very high and intermolecular attraction is very low. While it is maximum, intermolecular distance is minimum in solids and intermolecular attraction is maximum. Okay, so this is about it. Now we'll have a look at all three, solid, liquid and gas. This is about, you can just judge about the intermolecular distance. Less intermolecular distance, moderate and maximum intermolecular distance. Opposite to the intermolecular distance, you are having the intermolecular force. Maximum intermolecular force, moderate, while over here it is minimum. Then next, we all know about these three things, that is solid, liquids and gases, but the three states of matter. But what if you yet raise the temperature? You go on raising the temperature between 1000 degrees Celsius to 10 to the power 9 degrees Celsius. Will everything be just gas? Here is what the question arises. No, it won't be just gas. What it would be? It would be plasma. The fourth state of matter. What actually in the plasma happens? It is the particles which are carrying electric charge, that is, it is an ionized gas. Its density is not too high, and there is, if we talk about the whole of the gas, then whole of the gas doesn't carry any charge, but the particles are charged. Okay, we'll see at the examples of plasma. The flames, the lightning, the next one is this neon lights, you might have observed it anywhere. Stars. Most of the universe is made up of stars, and the total matter is generally occurring in the universe in this state of matter, that is the plasma. Okay, sun is the example of it, which is in the plasma state. Now coming to the next particular type of state of matter, which is the Bose-Einstein condensate. What happens if you are yet decreasing the temperature? To what temperature? About 10 to the power minus 9 degrees Celsius, or exactly above absolute zero. What happens? Will everything remain just as a frozen solid? Answer is no. Okay, the two persons, that is Satyendranath Bose and Albert Einstein, they gave the concept. These are the two persons who gave the concept and predicted about the fifth state of matter. Then it was Wolfgang who described about the fifth state of matter. This is about what we had talked about. You can see the three kids over here. If these three kids are joined, if we'll take one, what will happen? All three will come together, okay? So that is what is actually happening. The basic fact is all the particles are constantly moving at their own place. Now when the bouncing is there, and if they are in the if the temperature is going on decreasing, they are very closely packed with each other. Because they are very closely packed with each other, what will happen? They will constantly bounce and bounce, and after bouncing they'll just give a very big bounce, which is observed. And you can see it in the next particular slide. This is how actually things happen. The bouncing is seen. You cannot see it with the naked eye. We need some particular powerful microscopes for seeing it. And here it is about the picture of it. To really understand the Bose-Einstein condensate, we need to understand the quantum physics. And quantum physics part, as I said, it is of higher level, which will not touch. This is textbook part which is only for information, but it is not there in the NCERT, so no need to learn it. Okay, it was Eric Cornell and Wayman who had obtained the plasma from the rubidium 87. It was Kittel who had obtained it from sodium 23, that is its atomic mass at MIT, and all three were awarded the Nobel Prizes. You don't need to learn this content, okay, because it is not there in NCERT. For the test I am saying. Okay, this is the special lecture for a test. Coming to the scales, then they are generally occurring. How to measure the temperature, like we are having different units for measuring any particular quantity. In the same way, for measuring the temperature, what we are having is this: Celsius, Fahrenheit and Kelvin. Okay, and what is the relation between them? That remember, because that kind of questions can come. Convert the temperature into Celsius, and like that, temperature in degree Kelvin is temperature in degree Celsius plus 273. Okay, because 0 degree Celsius is what? 273 Kelvin. If actually it is 273.15, but you can take 273. Coming to the Fahrenheit conversion, 9/5 temperature in degree Celsius plus 32. This should be at the tip of your tongue. You have to see that you learn this at any cost. Okay? Remember this type of MCQs can come, or any other question related to the conversion may come. You have to be ready. In vice versa state, they can give you in the temperature in the Celsius form, you have to convert it into Kelvin. They can give you in the Fahrenheit form, you have to convert it into Celsius. Anything, anywhere, it can come. Next part that we are going to see is about the change in state of matter. When you are heating or you are applying pressure, there are only two ways to change the state of matter. That is, it can be converted from solid to liquid, liquid to gas, or gas to solid, and anything vice versa is possible. How it is possible? Let's have a look. When you are heating a solid, it will get converted into liquid. If you are heating a liquid, it will get converted into gas. In the same way, when you are cooling gas, it will get converted into liquid. If you are cooling liquid, it will get converted into solid. So this is what is actually happening. That is, you are heating over here. Ice particles, if you can see, if the temperature is increasing, they'll get converted into water. If yet the temperature is increasing, it'll get converted into steam. So this is about it. The particles are close to each other here. The intermolecular force, attraction force will decrease and will get converted into liquid, while here it will yet decrease. Now important points about the melting. First, we'll discuss this melting. Melting or fusion, it is the process in which solid gets converted into liquid state at a particular temperature. Melting point, it is that particular temperature at which solid gets converted into liquid, okay, at proper atmospheric pressure. Latent heat of fusion. Now this amount of heat that is needed to convert 1 kilogram of solid into liquid without any rise in the temperature, okay, then it is called as latent heat. Try to recall meaning of the word latent, what it was: hidden. What is the meaning of the word latent? It is hidden. Here you can observe that it is exactly 0 degrees Celsius. Although you can see the ice cubes little bit melted, but the temperature over here, it is shown 0 degrees Celsius. Why it is 0? It is 0 because of this concept. Next, what are the factors that are affecting the melting point? It is the pressure effect. That means there are some particular materials, some will expand on heating while some will contract. We had discussed about them in detail, but it is not there in NCERT. Impurities effect, that means if you are adding more impurities, then what will happen? The temperature, the melting point will yet change. Then the next point is boiling. If we talk about boiling, then what is boiling? Whenever liquid is getting converted into its gaseous state, what do we call it as? boiling. Boiling point, the temperature at which liquid gets converted into gaseous, that is called as boiling point. What is the boiling point of water? It is 100 degrees Celsius. If it comes in Kelvin, then it will become 373 Kelvin. Latent heat of vaporization, that is the amount of heat that is needed to convert 1 kilogram of liquid into its gaseous state at particular atmospheric pressure, then that heat is called as latent heat without any rise in temperature. These are the key words. Then these are the factors which are affecting the boiling point. Again, if at all there will be change in the pressure, then the boiling point will change. The very best example of it is pressure cooker. If at all you want to make anything, then in cooker it becomes very quickly. Okay, why it is becoming very quick in the things become very quick, anything gets boiled up very quickly in the cooker. For boiling, mothers generally instead of using any other particular vessel, they are preferring cooker. Why? Because it is totally covered, it will not allow the air to escape, so that air will create a pressure and ultimately the boiling point will change. Coming to the impurities, then if you are adding the impurities, melting point as well as the boiling point will change. Okay? Whether it is melting or boiling point, the impurities are affecting. This is how the temperature remains constant during the state of matter. Here it will remain 100 degrees Celsius only. Next important part, that is the sublimation. Okay, I am giving you just 30 seconds to observe this diagram and try to think. We have already done about this particular whole experiment. 30 seconds. You have to recall whole concept. You have to recall the whole concept of sublimation. Be quick, it's very easy. What is sublimation? First of all, anything gets converted from solid to gaseous, then what do we call it as? Sublimation. Here they have given ammonium chloride, camphor. There are various examples of sublimation. You can see an inverted funnel that is placed on the china dish over here, and here it is the burner. This is the ammonium chloride. Once you heat it, what will happen? The ammonium chloride will get converted into vapor. This vapor will not be escaped because of this particular part that is covering the funnel, which is cotton. So this is the process by which the gaseous changes happening. This is very important diagram. It's a bit what is solid, liquid and gas. Minimum amount of heat that is needed to convert solid to liquid is the latent heat of fusion. Minimum amount of heat that is needed to convert liquid into gas is this vaporization. On this basis, many times hard MCQs are coming, so this is the graph that you have to keep in your brain before attempting anything. Then effect of pressure on gases. This is the special particular concept that is given. So this is the gas. If you are applying the pressure on the gas, what will happen? All the molecules will come very close to each other and will get converted into liquid. This is the best example of it, that is LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. And what is solid carbon dioxide called as? Solid carbon dioxide is called as dry ice. Next is the conversion. And the conversion of the three states of matter, solid to liquid, liquid to gas. This is the concept which you have to keep in the brain. Solid gets converted into liquid, what it is called as fusion. Liquid gets converted into solid, what is called as solidification. Liquid gets converted into gas, what is called as vaporization. Gas gets converted into liquid, what it is called as condensation. Solid gets converted into gas, what it is called as sublimation. Gas gets converted into solid, what it is called as? Again, it is called as sublimation. So this, all the three states of matter, they are interconvertible. Okay, let's move further. Evaporation. Talking about evaporation, then Evaporation means what? And moreover, there is a difference between the two words, that is evaporation and boiling. Now, what is this difference about? Okay, first of all, what is evaporation? So, evaporation, it is the process in which the liquid will get converted into gaseous, and moreover at any temperature you don't need to heat it extra. It will use the energy that is present in the surrounding to get converted into the gaseous state. Now here you can look over here, this is the high energy evaporating, these are the medium, and these are the lower. So these are the various particles. Those one which are at the top, they will quickly get converted into vapor, and the one which are not having more proportion of energy, they will stay in between, while the one which are having the least energy, they will stay at the bottom, and they will never ever get converted into gaseous state. Now let's move further, which is this concept, that is factors affecting evaporation. If we talk about the nature of the liquid, then acetone evaporates faster than water. Depending on the type of the liquid, the evaporation concept is there. There is increase in the surface area, then the rate of evaporation will increase. Let us have a look at one of the example. If you are drinking the coffee in a mug, and if you are drinking the same coffee in a saucer, what will be when you can drink it more comfortably? If it is in the saucer, very quickly it will get cooled up. Why? Because the surface area has increased. Why we are not keeping the clothes as it is? Why we are opening it and then we are drying it after washing? We are doing it just because we want to increase the surface area. One more thing, this concept evaporation is causing cooling. With that also, if I am keeping water in a normal container, and if I spread the water on the ground, which one will evaporate fast? Okay, I'm just using 100 ml of water that is kept in one tube, narrow tube, and 100 ml I'm just spreading on the ground. The one which will get evaporated very quickly will be the one that is on the ground. Why? Because there is more surface area. Coming to the next particular concept, that is increase in the temperature will increase the rate of evaporation. More the temperature, more will be the evaporation. Do keep that in mind. More the temperature, more will be the evaporation. Just try to analyze this concept again. If on a windy day, when we want some, like many times we are doing near in the ground, we sprinkle the water. If you are sprinkling the water in the rainy season and you are sprinkling the water in a summer season, then in summer season it will get evaporated very quickly. What is the reason? Because with the increase in temperature, the rate of evaporation will increase. Increase in the humidity will decrease the rate of evaporation. Why it is happening like that? As we are knowing that on a windy day, or the day where like for example in the rainy season, the clothes will not get dried off quickly. What is the reason? The reason is this, that whenever there is humidity, there will be the decrease in evaporation. There are only two things which are inversely proportional, that is the humidity and pressure. Only these two things will decrease, and they are decreasing the rate of evaporation. Others are all increasing. If we are increasing the wind speed, then again the rate of evaporation will increase. Okay, so these are the factors which are affecting evaporation. Very important concept. This is again back that same diagram just to evaluate the concept. Okay, the particles that are present over here at the top, they will quickly move up because they are having more amount of energy. The one which are lying over here, they will stay over here and they'll try their best, but again they're getting pulled up back, while those which are in the bottom, they will stay at the bottom. So next part is evaporation causes cooling. This is how it is, cooling is helpful to us in the water tank and the coolers. Not these days more commonly, but beforehand they were being used. The water droplets, whenever they were allowed to fall on this particular part of the cooler, warm air was allowed to come, and the air that comes out is the cooler one. This is about its concept. Okay, next particular portion is the diffusion. Before diffusion, we are having this difference between boiling and evaporation. We'll see that. Boiling, it is a quick process, moreover it needs energy, occurs at a fixed temperature. Okay, it will not occur at the room temperature, it occurs throughout the liquid. Evaporation is a surface phenomena. It will occur only at the top, while boiling is a bulk phenomena. That means it occurs throughout the liquid. Very important concept, boiling is a bulk phenomena while evaporation is a surface phenomena. Boiling is quick, evaporation is slow. The bubbles that are formed over here in the boiling, they are like here the bubbles are formed, while here you cannot see the bubble that is going out. So bubbles are not formed. This occurs at a fixed temperature, while evaporation occurs at all the temperature. No other extra energy is required. It will gain all the energy from the surroundings. So this is about how the state of matters are changing. Then the diffusion. Diffusion, it is how it is derived from the Latin word which is meaning defender, and the meaning of this particular word is to spread out. Diffusion in gas, then its example is this, that is garam pav bhaji and thandi pav bhaji. Now how these two pav bhajis are different from each other. So whenever it is the garam pav bhaji, then in that case what happens is any particular thing, you can have the smell of hot substance quickly towards you. That is because there will be diffusion in the air of it, while in the one that is cold food, it will not be able to spread more amount of fragrance of it. Then diffusion in liquid, anything will get quickly dissolved in water like salt or sugar. Then comes the diffusion in solid, that is if the chalk part is, if it is kept for some days, then it remain as it is for a longer period of time. Okay, so this is about the whole of the lesson.